I field a lot of calls from prospective operators, and I can't tell you how many times I've had the same conversation where it's basically, hey, I have some land in X, and I want to put 10 domes on there. And that's how it starts. There's no vision. There's no specific idea of how they want it to look. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who can start with a pretty broad vision like that and turn it into something special. But I think that the best ones, the top 5%, are the ones who have a specific vision of what they want, and they are absolute killers at implementing it. So we had Irene Woods from the Fields of Michigan on a couple of months ago. Her tagline is Midwestern hospitality perfected. It's kind of based on her upbringing in the Midwest. She loves hospitality. It's part of who she is. And you can see that in every single detail of her site, of her social media. And you can really see her vision implemented in every single tiny detail. So, you know, when you look at her website and on Instagram, everything is nicely laid out. There's beautiful lighting. When they host events, the dinner tables look amazing and it looks like the kind of place you'd want to be. And every single part of the site has Irene written all over it. And I think that is just an example of her having her thing, never losing sight of that. Really implementing those principles of hospitality that she is so passionate about, and it's visible in the site, but also when you stay, you know, she is milling about the site. She's speaking to guests every day. Her staff are speaking to guests every day. It's the complete opposite of the modern kind of, you know, we'll leave the guests alone model, which also really works. But for Irene, she wants to go out and meet the guests. And I think that has been a huge factor in how that site has been so successful, why she's growing so rapidly, why she gets such good reviews, and why I think she's in the top 5%. So I have another example of a founder having their own thing, but I don't know if anyone had any thoughts on that at all.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is so important. I hear all my business school professors saying, why is your customer coming to your property? And I think that just kind of ties in really nicely with what you were saying. And Irene Woods is a perfect example. Crystal clear mission statement. Like, this is what we're providing. Midwestern hospitality perfected. It's clean. And I think, you know, the fundamental question you should ask before you do anything is, why are customers coming to your property? And all other decision trees should reflect back to that.
Yeah, and it's also, it feeds into marketing as well, because if everything on the site is to your vision and the whole experience is to your vision, then you as a founder can become a marketing tool. You can do what Boat Farm Treehouse, for example, do: hop on an Instagram live and talk about their site and show guests around. And I think it's everything is so much more coherent when you have a specific vision and you follow that to the last. And you have to be a good executor as well to do that, because it's very easy to have a vision and lose sight of it. And I think Irene sets herself apart in that front as well, because she just was laser focused in how she did it, and you know, her site is all the better for it.
And Bygnal, to get your opinion, if we were to ask you the question, why does a customer come to Open Sky? You know, what's the reason? What's the foundational reason besides that, or that you're trying to communicate? I guess, what would that be?
Yeah, for us, it's really about creating that wow factor in nature. So, like for us, it's about, okay, where luxury sleeps under the stars. That's kind of our tagline. So we want you to create a luxury experience immersed in nature. That's what we're offering. And with that, you have to have the passion to start with. If you're not passionate about it, this business is extremely hard and difficult dealing with all the elements.
I thought it was easy, Big
And then it is easy. It's so easy. No, I'll do it.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and then my biggest piece for all of this is the customer journey. It is the team members you have on your property. It is the culture you create. It is how you make those guests feel. It is those individual touch points that make those guests really feel connected to your brand, to you, your journey, your story, and then they want to tell all of their friends. So if you can get that feeling across to them and show that you really did care, you actually listened to them, you're empathetic, and you really take care of them, like beyond the bottom line, and it's about the guest, and from there it just goes like wildflower. Like it's fire. Like it is really, to me, my core piece. what I feel like's made Open Sky Open Sky.
And as an operator implementing that, is there anything specific that you can point to of how you've kind of implemented that principle?
It's taking everything you guys all talked about to this point too. So it's setting that customer journey and that expectation line. It all starts with your website, is that first touch point, and then keeping that touch point all the way through until they leave. Because like you can't have a beautiful website and beautiful drone footage, and then they show up and then their check-in and arrival experience wasn't that great. They didn't really know what happened, and then the propane tank wasn't going, their AC didn't work, or their heater, or all these different issues. So if you can't take care of those, they leave, and like I didn't get my value out of it. I didn't have my expectations were set this, and I did left with that. So it's really just making sure you're committed to that.
And presumably some of the some aspects of the experience that you create have changed from the day you open, right? If you you've seen how guests have responded, and how have you changed things up from when you first started?
Yeah, absolutely. They will tell you what they want to see and how they want to experience it. So as long as you can listen and set aside your ego, and yes, we have to have a vision, we have to create something and kind of force it a little bit because this is what we want to make you unique. But once you kind of get that pushed through to a certain balance, you have to take a step back and realize, okay, it's not about you anymore. It is about your guest, individual guest that comes through there. So yes, listen to them and really just take their thoughts. And some will be great ideas, some will not be great ideas, and then just pivot fast.